Hello, all. Today we will be uncovering So You Want to Live in Medieval Times? There is a certain breed of human, let's call them the seekers of the past, who look at modern life with its Wi Fi woes, traffic jams, and existential dread and say, no thanks. I'd rather be in a castle, wearing itchy wool, eating turnips, and dodging the plague. And honestly, respect. But before you trade your smartphone for a sword and your Uber Eats for a goat, let us take a spiritual and slightly ridiculous journey into what daily life was actually like in the Middle Ages. Morning routine. Rise and pray and maybe shovel dung. Forget your sunrise yoga and oat milk lattes. In the 14th century, your day began with the church. Bells and a prayer because spirituality wasn't optional, it was survival. People believed everything from crop failure to stubbed toes was divine punishment. So yes, you'd pray. A lot. Then it was off to your chores. Peasants, tending fields, feeding livestock, and yes, shoveling manure. Nobles, overseeing estates, writing letters in Latin, and occasionally jousting for fun. Monks, copying manuscripts by candlelight and brewing surprisingly good beer. Lunch, bread, beer, and a side of piety. Medieval folks ate what they could grow, steal, or barter. Bread was life, beer was safer than water. Meat was rare, unless you were noble or had a good slingshot and poor impulse control. Spirituality was baked into every bite literally. Bread was often blessed and fasting days were frequent. If you're vegan, congrats. You'd fit right in during Lent, when meat was banned and fish became the medieval tofu. Entertainment, jousting, storytelling, and avoiding witch trials. No Netflix, but plenty of drama. Jousting tournaments were the Super Bowl of the day minus commercials, plus concussions. Minstrels and bards roamed the land, singing tales of valor and heartbreak. Witch trials were less fun, especially if you had a mole or an opinion. Spirituality was everywhere. Pilgrimages were the medieval version of a soul-searching road trip, minus the air conditioning. People walked hundreds of miles to touch a saint's toe bone and feel closer to God. Nightlife, candles, cold, and contemplation. When the sun went down, so did the temperature and the mood. Candles were precious, so most folks went to bed early. But not before a final prayer, a check for rats in the straw mattress, and maybe a whispered confession to the stars. Oh, medieval relationships, where love was often less about butterflies and more about land, livestock, and alliances. But don't worry, there was still plenty of drama, devotion, and even a little romance, if you squint past the plague and political marriages. Let's dive into some fascinating relationship dynamics from the Middle Ages, with a mix of humor, history, and spiritual spice. Marriage. The ultimate business deal. Forget dating apps. Medieval marriages were arranged faster than you can say dowry. Nobles married for power. A duca's daughter might be wed to a baron's son to secure land and troops. Peasants married for survival. Two strong backs were better than one when it came to farming and raising goats. Church approval was key. Spiritual legitimacy mattered, and clandestine marriages could be annulled if not properly blessed. Fun fact, the church eventually required weddings to happen in public with witnesses because too many people were secretly marrying in barns and regretting it later. Courtly love, the medieval crush culture. This was the original will they, won't they drama. Knights would write poetry and perform heroic deeds for unattainable noblewomen. The woman was usually married. The knight was usually dramatic. It was all about spiritual longing, not physical consummation in theory. Example, Lancelot and Guinevere. Beautiful, tragic, definitely not HR approved. Forbidden love. Monks, nuns, and scandal monasteries were supposed to be places of celibacy and devotion, but humans are humans. There are records of monks sneaking out to meet local women. Some nuns wrote love letters that would make modern romance novels blush. The church cracked down hard, but the heart wants what it wants, even in a habit. Peasant pairings. Love and the Med-Peasant relationships were refreshingly practical. Couples often lived together before marriage, called handfasting. They shared chores, livestock, and occasionally a bed stuffed with straw and fleas. Love was expressed through shared labor, laughter, and surviving winter together. Spiritual twist. Many peasants believed marriage was sacred, even if it wasn't fancy. They'd pray together, bless their fields, and raise children with faith and folklore. Intellectual love, letters and longing among the educated elite. Love could be deeply cerebral. Thinkers like Abelard and Heloise exchanged passionate letters filled with theology, philosophy, and heartbreak. Their relationship was part spiritual, part intellectual, and part tragic opera. Quote from Heloise, "I would rather be your mistress than the wife of an emperor. Girl knew what she wanted." Love Ben verses. Love now. Medieval relationships were messy, mystical, and often dictated by fate, faith, or feudalism. But beneath the politics and piety, people still longed for connection, comfort, and companionship, just like we do today. So if you're dreaming of medieval romance, go ahead, write a sonnet, wear a cloak. Fall in love with someone who knows how to churn butter and recite Latin. The spiritual takeaway. Medieval life was heart-holy and hilariously human. People lived with deep faith, constant discomfort, and a surprising amount of joy. They sang, danced, prayed, and persevered. They believed in miracles, feared demons, and hoped for heaven. So if you're yearning for the Middle Ages, maybe what you're really craving is a slower pace, a deeper connection, a sense of purpose, and yes, maybe a cool sword. Just remember, you can embrace medieval vibes without giving up plumbing. Light a candle, read a poem, wear a cloak, and let your soul time travel, no time machine required. Thanks for watching. DPC.